The galaxy had conquered thousands of civilizations. Some surrendered within days. Others fought for years before disappearing into history. The Galactic Dominion believed every species could be broken. It was only a matter of time. Then they found Earth. For decades, humanity had quietly expanded beyond the solar system, building colonies in forgotten sectors, trading with independent worlds, and keeping its true military strength hidden behind peaceful diplomacy. To the Dominion, humans looked ordinary. No ancient empire. No terrifying biological weapons. No planet-sized fleets. Just another young civilization that would kneel when the pressure became too great. So the Dominion High Council voted unanimously. Earth would receive one final chance. A fleet unlike anything the Orion Arm had ever witnessed emerged from hyperspace above Mars. Thousands of warships stretched across the darkness like an endless metallic horizon. Their flagship alone was larger than entire cities. Across every human communication network, a single message interrupted broadcasts. People of Earth, you are surrounded. Your military is insignificant. Your allies have abandoned you. Surrender within 24 standard hours. Accept Dominion rule. Resist, and your species will cease to exist. Across the galaxy, billions watched the transmission. Everyone expected the same ending. Humanity would surrender. After all, no one survived the Dominion. Inside Earth's United Defense Command, however, nobody panicked. Generals calmly studied the fleet. Scientists continued their research. Engineers walked through underground facilities without urgency. President Amelia Ross listened to the ultimatum only once. Then she smiled. They really think that's everything they have. Around the room, several officers exchanged amused looks. Admiral Nathan Graves folded his arms. Permission to activate Protocol Iron Dawn? The president didn't answer immediately. She stood before a massive window overlooking Earth's orbit. Hidden behind civilian stations, buried beneath lunar shipyards, and concealed inside asteroid belts, thousands of classified construction projects had waited for this exact moment. For 50 years, humanity had prepared for an enemy everyone else believed impossible to defeat. The Dominion wasn't discovering Earth. They were walking directly into humanity's trap. Exactly 24 hours later, every screen in the galaxy activated once again. The Dominion expected surrender documents. Instead, President Ross appeared wearing the black uniform reserved only during declarations of total war. She looked directly into the camera. Her voice never shook. You offered humanity one last chance. We have considered your proposal. A brief silence followed. Then came 7 words that echoed across the stars forever. Humanity declines. We declare war. Silence consumed the galaxy. The Dominion commanders stared in disbelief. Deep beneath Earth's surface, the first ancient blast doors began to open. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, something long forgotten finally awakened. For 50 years, humanity had built in silence. Not just defenses, but preparation for extinction-level war against an enemy they were never supposed to meet so soon. The moment the Dominion's ultimatum ended, every hidden system came online. In the Himalayas, mountain ranges split open, revealing kilometer-wide launch tunnels lined with glowing energy rails. In the Atlantic, what looked like abandoned research platforms began transforming, metallic structures unfolding like mechanical flowers into orbital cannons. On the Moon, lunar dust was blasted into space as buried shipyards activated, revealing fleets that had never been officially recorded. And deep inside the asteroid belt, something massive began to move. Admiral Nathan Graves stood in Command Nexus 1, a facility buried 5 kilometers under Earth's crust. Around him, holographic displays flickered alive, showing thousands of classified war assets. He didn't look surprised. He had been waiting for this day his entire career. Status report, he ordered calmly. A young officer responded, voice tight with controlled excitement. All Iron Dawn assets are active, sir. Orbital defense grid online. Solar mines armed. Colony fleets emerging from concealment. Prototype dreadnoughts launching from Titan yards. Another screen flashed red for a moment, then stabilized into green. Graves allowed himself a small breath. Finally, he muttered. Meanwhile, above Earth, the Dominion fleet remained confident. Their commanders studied the planet below, still expecting collapse. One admiral laughed. No response. As expected, primitive species always need time to accept reality. Another officer added, "Shall we begin planetary suppression?" The High Commander raised a hand. "Not yet. Let them process fear. It makes obedience easier." But then, something changed. Sensors across the Dominion fleet flickered. At first, it was nothing. Background noise, anomalies, statistical errors. Then came the alarms. One by one. Hundreds of them. Unknown energy signature detected. Orbital mass accumulation in progress. Multiple high-velocity objects detected. Wait, thousands, no, millions. The Dominion bridge fell silent. Every display updated at once. What had been empty space around Earth was no longer empty. Ships were appearing. Not small ones. Not defensive ones. Warships. Massive, heavily armored, and unlike anything the galaxy had ever catalogued. One junior officer whispered, Those aren't colonial defenses." The tactical AI hesitated for the first time in recorded Dominion history. Then it displayed a single word. Threat classification, unknown extinction-level presence. And deep inside Earth's command network, Admiral Graves finally gave the order humanity had waited decades to hear. Activate all fleets. Let them see what we built in the dark. The silence in the Dominion fleet didn't last long. It broke the moment space around Earth began to distort. At first, it looked like heat ripples, subtle bends in starlight, as if reality itself was under pressure. Then those ripples turned into fractures. Dark, geometric shapes tore open across orbit, like invisible blades slicing through space. And from those fractures, humanity's warships emerged. Not one by one. Not in formation. But in waves. Thousands of vessels slid into existence across multiple orbital layers, low Earth orbit, lunar intercept zones, asteroid belts, and deep space approach corridors. Each arrival was synchronized with terrifying precision. The Dominion High Commander leaned forward. His voice dropped. "How many ships is that?" No one answered immediately. The tactical display struggled to keep up. Then it updated again. And again. And again. Until the number stopped making sense. "Impossible," someone whispered. Inside Earth's command nexus, Admiral Nathan Graves watched the same unfolding storm through layered holographic feeds. No emotion on his face. Only confirmation. Fleet Sigma has cleared Titan orbit. Fleet Omega is exiting Jupiter's shadow. Dreadnought divisions are locking combat formation. "Good," Graves said quietly. "Begin Phase 2. Across the void, the first human dreadnought fully revealed itself. It dwarfed even Dominion command ships. Its hull wasn't sleek or elegant. It was brutal, angular, and built for survival rather than aesthetics. Entire sections were reinforced with layered alloys that bent light around them. Weapon arrays stretched along its spine like a forest of cannons. Then it fired, not at a ship, but into empty space. A single pulse. No explosion. No visible effect. Just a ripple that traveled faster than sensors could track. And seconds later, a Dominion scout fleet, hundreds of light seconds away, simply vanished. No debris. No distress signal. Nothing. The Dominion bridge erupted into chaos. What was that? Scout Group 7 is gone. No debris signature. The High Commander clenched his fists. Target Earth's surface weapons. Now. But before the order could be fully executed, Earth responded again. This time from the moon. Massive lunar rail platforms rotated into alignment. Energy cores ignited across their length. And a wall of light erupted outward, forming a defensive lattice that wrapped Earth like a glowing cage of death. A Dominion officer stared at the readout. His face went pale. That's not defense. That's a kill zone. Back on Earth, deep within Command Nexus 1, alarms remained silent. Because nothing was going wrong. Everything was going exactly as planned. Admiral Graves finally looked up at the main display. The Dominion fleet was no longer the hunter. It was surrounded. Completely. And for the first time since the war began, humanity was the one smiling in the dark. The Dominion fleet finally understood something terrifying. Earth was not a single defended world. It was the center of a layered war machine that extended far beyond the planet itself. And now, it was waking up completely. Across the battlefield, human formations tightened like closing jaws. Fleets that had once been hidden in deep shadow positions now revealed their true scale. Interlocking grids of warships, carrier groups, and automated strike wings stretching across orbital space. The Dominion High Commander forced his voice steady. Begin planetary bombardment. Focus all fire on surface infrastructure. Break their command structure. Weapons systems charged. Plasma arrays ignited. Mass drivers locked onto Earth. But before a single shot could be fired, a new signal interrupted every Dominion channel. Not a transmission. A warning embedded directly into their tactical network. You are in violation of human space defense grid. The Dominion AI immediately flagged it as intrusion. Then upgraded it. Then froze. Because something impossible was happening. Their own systems were being mapped. In real time. By something inside human infrastructure. Sir, a technician stammered, our targeting systems are being mirrored. Mirrored? Yes, sir. It's like they already know every firing solution we haven't calculated yet. On Earth, Admiral Nathan Graves stood before a vast holographic war table. Around him, dozens of fleet commanders awaited orders. Dominion weapon status? He asked. A response came instantly. Fully catalogued, sir. Firing sequences predicted? Yes. Countermeasures ready? The pause. Then, already deployed. Graves nodded once. Then let them fire. The Dominion fleet didn't hesitate anymore. They unleashed everything. Hundreds of capital ships opened fire simultaneously. Beams of annihilation energy streaked toward Earth, bright enough to outshine stars. Entire sections of orbit lit up like a dying sun. For a moment, it looked like the end. But then the human lattice activated. The moon-based kill grid responded first. Each beam of Dominion energy was intercepted, not blocked, but redirected. Space itself bent, splitting incoming fire into harmless arcs that dispersed into the void. Other attacks simply disappeared mid-flight. As if the universe had rejected them. One Dominion admiral whispered, "That's not shielding. That's control over space-time." And then it got worse. From behind the Dominion fleet, unknown signatures appeared. Human stealth cruisers, previously undetectable, had already moved into rear formation. They didn't fire immediately. They waited. On Earth, Admiral Graves finally gave the next command. Cut their escape routes. Let them realize what it means to be trapped. And in the darkness of space, the net closed. Panic finally broke the Dominion fleet. Not because they were losing ships yet, but because they realized something far worse. They had already lost control of the battlefield. Every escape vector collapsed at once. Hyperspace lanes, blocked. Retreat corridors, sealed. Communications, jammed with human origin interference that rewrote their own encryption in real time. One Dominion captain slammed his console. We're being herded like animals. Across the battlefield, human fleets tightened formation. Not chaotic. Not aggressive. Systematic. Precise. Like a machine that had already simulated every possible outcome 1,000 times before the first shot was fired. Inside Command Nexus 1, Admiral Nathan Graves watched the Dominion fleet struggle against invisible walls. A young officer spoke quietly. Sir, they're requesting ceasefire negotiations. Graves didn't look away from the display. No. The officer hesitated. We could still. They didn't come here to negotiate, Graves interrupted. They came to test whether we were worth erasing. Silence followed. Then Graves finally turned. Begin termination phase. On the moon, the kill grid expanded. Entire sections of space lit up as human weapon systems synchronized for the first time. This was not random destruction. It was surgical. Dominion Command ships began disappearing one by one, not exploded, not disabled, but erased from combat space entirely as if removed from reality's calculation. Their formations collapsed instantly. Fear spread faster than any weapon. This is impossible. They're predicting every move. It's like they already fought this war. And in a sense, they had. For decades. In simulations. In hidden labs. In quantum prediction engines running billions of war scenarios per second. Humanity hadn't prepared for war. They had perfected it. The Dominion High Commander stood frozen as his flagship shook under unknown pressure waves. "What are they?" he whispered. No one answered. Because the truth was now obvious. Earth was not a young civilization. It was a concealed apex predator. A species that had learned patience. And now, it was finished waiting. Back on Earth, Admiral Graves received one final message from the remaining Dominion Command network. A single line. "We surrender." The pause. Then another message followed immediately. "Please, stop." Graves looked at the fading fleet on the display. For a moment, silence filled Command Nexus 1. Then he spoke. "All units, stand down weapons." The human fleet slowly powered down. Not out of mercy, but because the objective had already been achieved. The Dominion was broken. And as their ships drifted helplessly in the void, a final broadcast echoed across every surviving channel. Graves' voice was calm, measured, final. "You were right about one thing. We were not like the others. We were what came after the others learned to fear us. And in the dark between stars, the galaxy learned a new rule. Never give Earth a last chance."